Welcome to Corvette Today, the podcast that talks about everything Corvette, with your host Steve Garrett, MC and DJ at one of the largest Corvette weekends in the country, Corvette Fun Fest, president of the Corvette Club of Kansas City, Missouri, and radio disc jockey at the #1 radio station in Kansas City for over 40 years. Here's Steve Garrett.
Thanks for listening to Corvette Today, the podcast that talks about everything Corvette. Brought to you by Wheelcraft. Want to dress up your Corvette with bright chrome or black chrome wheels? Visit wheelcraft.com to learn about their advanced PVD chrome finishing. They can refinish your wheels or offer a wheel exchange for most models, and it comes with a 5-year warranty. Visit wheelcraft.com today or call 833-840-5334. I'm your host, Steve Garrett. I appreciate you tuning in. You can listen to Corvette Today on all podcast platforms. You can also listen on your smart device. Just say, Alexa or Hey Google, play the podcast called Corvette Today, and you're connected. Also, visit the Corvette Today website. It's CorvetteTodayPodcast.com. And while you're there, make sure you visit the Corvette Today merchandise store. You can also sign up for Corvette Today emails, notifications, and updates at CorvetteToday.ck.page. And don't forget, join the Corvette Today Facebook group. We have over 3,800 members, and I'd love to have you as a member as well. And don't forget about the YouTube channel now for Corvette Today. See all your favorite Corvette Today podcasts now on YouTube. First, I'd like to thank our flagship sponsors of Corvette Today, Aero Wheels, a true forged wheel with over 20 unique design styles to choose from for your C8 and wide-body versions of the C7, C6, and C5 Corvette. It's an awesome value starting at only $23.88 for a set of 4 fully forged wheels. And now use the new promo code CT111, that's CT111, and get $100 off your purchase. Visit aerolari.com, that's AEROLARRI.com, with the new promo code CT111 for your $100 discount. Also, midenginecorvetteforum.com, the forum that focuses on the new mid-engine C8 Corvette. Meet a lot of fellow Corvette enthusiasts like yourself at midenginecorvetteforum.com. Also, a shout out to CanadianCorvetteForum.com, welcoming Corvette owners from around the world. All right, he's back, everybody. It's time to get the latest Corvette news and headlines with my pal, Keith Cornett from CorvetteBlogger.com. Keith is here twice per month, every other week. We keep you up to date and current on what's happening with America's sports car. Keith, welcome back to the show. Buddy, just when you thought it was safe to go back on the streets and start talking about the Z06, we've got more insider information, don't we?
You know, there has just been a slew of news coming out. A lot of this is coming from dealers and people related to the buying and selling process because we did get Z06 allocations and ordering has started. So, yeah, there's a lot coming out. It wasn't the smoothest rollout either, so let's get to it. We'll walk you through and let you know what's happening.
That sounds good. For those of you that are getting Stingrays, we have the latest Corvette production update from the Bowling Green assembly plant.
Yeah, so far we've got really just good news coming out of the Corvette assembly plant. You know, we've had some down days where production may have only reached around 119, 120 cars. And our current average for the 2023 model year is right around 153 cars per day. Our count has always been 184. That's what the plant can do, full production in both shifts, right. The first shift and the second shifts. So we're 150 on an average day. There's definitely room to grow, which is good because obviously we've got the Z06 starting up soon. It's still moving. We haven't had any cancellations of work since the vacation time in July. I would say that things are still going strong. Last week, we did cross over the 9,000 VIN milestone for the 2023 model year Stingrays. If production is steady this week, we could actually see 10,000 Corvettes built by Friday. Still good news coming out. It's not as a robust production schedule as we'd like to see, but they're definitely working hard each and every day to get us our Stingrays, and soon it'll be the Z06. They're coming.
Absolutely right. And that's great news about the number count as well. All right, let's get into it, Keith. Let's talk about Z06 allocations and orders.
All right, so here we go. Chevrolet gave dealers their first allocations last Thursday, and as we know, it wasn't the smoothest rollout ever. There was actually some sort of data mix-up that we learned. Dealers originally stated that they had 0 allocations. These were really big dealers, and for them to have 0 allocations, it really just totally freaked everybody out. The good news is that we learned that there was an issue and that by late Thursday afternoon, these big volume dealers could log into their systems and then see that they did have quantity quantities. They did have Z06 allocation. The other thing that was weird too is that dealers were showing different screenshots that suggested different totals. It turns out that there's actually 3 allocation tiers for dealers. So think large, medium, and small. The way that Chevrolet does this is that smaller dealers are protected from competing with the larger stores for these allocations. Again, this is all new stuff that we're learning, Steve. So I had no idea that there was these 3 tiers that were out there.
Wow.
Some were saying the actual number of Z06s available nationwide is 196. Well, that was for just the largest tier of dealers. The actual count is 281 with 85 Aero cars. So we did see more cars, but there's these 3 tiers. Understand that we are seeing a ramp up of Z06 numbers as we move towards the start of regular production. We don't know how much more it's going to be. There's all kinds of conflicting information out there. So not the smoothest rollout for allocations. There is an order cycle that is currently going on. Let me say this, Steve. Members of the Corvette team really had nothing to do with last week's allocation fiasco. It's this team that handles the dealers and the information they put out. There's been a lack of communication. There's been wrong information. Dealers can't update their customers if they don't have the information. These guys were just getting slammed left and right by people who are upset. They're not hearing from their dealers. Dealers have no information to share because Chevrolet's been so tight-lipped. It's really been just a very difficult environment for the dealers in terms of communication with their customers just because they don't know. Crazy stuff going on, but it looks like it's going to smooth out, hopefully. Z06 orders are in the process. It's off and running. Not the smoothest start, but it's off and running.
It is off and running. A couple questions for you, Keith. Now, 281 represents the monthly total nationwide for all Chevrolet dealers. Isn't that correct?
That is correct, yes.
Okay, and then what is an Aero car?
So the Aero car is anything with the big wing on the back. There's 2 versions of the Aero car, and you have to have the Aero package to order Z07. So it's the TOG or TOJ options. They're all carbon fiber Aero, but just one is finished in carbon flash and the other is visible carbon fiber metallic.
Gotcha.
That's what's being called the Aero cars. And of course, that stuff's not cheap anyways. I think those packages can run upwards of, $11,000 or $12,000 combined. When you add that to a car, that's a commitment you're making. And with that not really being available nationwide, that's going to hurt a little bit.
Absolutely. Now, we do have some select Z06 buyers that are at status 3000, and we're looking at production maybe starting the week of September 12th. Isn't that correct?
Yeah, so this was the week before the ordering opened up. We saw all of a sudden a bunch of customers seem to move up to status 3000 already. Even a couple of them had production target weeks showing in September. This is the customers that took advantage of the $5,000 PIN option, PIN, P-I-N, which is the RPO code for a customer selectable VIN. We saw this with Stingray. There's a couple guys that have 1953 Corvettes. And what they did was they were able to pay the $5,000 and match the VIN of their 2020 Corvette Stingray to their 1953 Corvette. I think one of the guys that did that, he had number 285 on his 53, so he was able to get 285 on his 2020. So my understanding is there's a process you have to go through. The Chevy just doesn't grant these nilly-willy. They kind of want to know why you want it. There's a little bit of an understanding there. And then dealers start working with their PIN customers months in advance because they have to do all this clearance and stuff. We're learning that there's probably around 38 to 40 PIN orders that were placed, and these were pulled first, and we saw their statuses move to 3,000 immediately. One thing that freaked people out, Sioka, their public list showed, 32 PIN cars move. So the big question was, where are these cars going? Are they being produced now? Are they being produced later? And kind of really don't know that information. PIN orders do count against the dealer's allocation, but it could also be spread out over the course of several months. Again, just not really sure how they're handling that. While some of these low PIN numbers will go first, others will wait to be sequenced. I joke with my 66 Corvette, if I wanted to match the VIN of that thing, I'm waiting around to the 22,891 car. I don't know if that's quite the value out of spending $5,000 on it.
Right.
The most famous PIN order is Rick Hendrick's VIN 001. He won the rights to purchase that at Barrett-Jackson. We also know that GM pulled some VIP orders as well. You can imagine some of the people on that list, but they are going to be among the first to get their car. There was some movement there. This happens every order cycle, although most of the time the pins aren't in this kind of quantity. They might be 3, 4, or 5 in a regular model year. We did see a similar number. I think over 30 pins were used in 2020 for the Stingray. It is a way to move up the list. It's a way to secure an allocation earlier. You do have to spend the $5,000, and hopefully if you're at an MSRP dealer, you can do that. That's kind of like your own ADM, but again, I think that most people would say that it's totally worth it.
First of all, my order wasn't pulled, and I was hoping to be on that VIP list, and I wasn't, damn it. And then, it's a note to self, everybody. If you want to get the first allocation of any model Corvette, whether it's Z06, E-Ray, Zora, or ZR1, maybe putting the $5,000 into a specific VIN would help get you to the top of that list. So that's something to think about as we move forward and get more iterations of Corvettes coming out.
Yeah, there's definitely opportunities for people to be creative and come up with something fun there. There's different ways you could do it. You could do a theme car. You could do it based around a year or birthday. Kind of cool stuff there.
That's cool. That's very cool. All right, and I was glad to see this, being the carbon fiber freak that I am. Chevrolet has changed the way you can order the carbon fiber wheels.
Yeah, so the carbon fiber wheels were always tied to Z07. And in fact, it's not just you get the carbon fiber wheels, but there are some specific calibrations to the steering because the wheels are lighter. They offer the 40 pounds of unspun weight savings. I think this is probably related to the Aero constraints on the cars, with only 30% available. Carbon Revolution's been doing a great job of getting Chevrolet wheels, and we know that from your conversation with them that they've been stockpiling these wheels over here already.
Right.
So my thinking is that they're just going to allow this free flow option as a way for some people, if they can't get the Aero package, which is the main constraint now on Z07, they can order the carbon fiber wheels and at least feel like they've got something special. GM is now allowing non-Z07 cars to have the carbon fiber wheels, and then you do require to get the J57 carbon ceramic brakes.
Got it.
You do need that stopping power. And also, I think the carbon ceramic brakes keep the inside of the barrels cooler than the iron brakes, which is why those are required. The other thing that was in this update is that GM wants you to know that you cannot mix and match your wheels in the Aero. If you order visible carbon fiber wheels on a Z07, you have to go with the visible carbon fiber Aero package. And the same with the carbon flash. You get the carbon flash Aero package, you got to get the carbon flash wheels. They don't want you to mix and match on that. Good news, I think, for some people, and others will say, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and take the opportunity now. I'll get the carbon fiber wheels, the J57 brakes, and then I'll turn to the aftermarket to find the carbon fiber wing that I want. That's what I probably foresee happening. The fact is that most of the people that probably order this car are never going to take it to the track anyway. The Z07, in terms of the performance capabilities that it offers, most people just won't be able to fully use that on the street. This was good news for Corvette people. Hopefully we'll see people take advantage of it.
Absolutely. Also, we have an idea about the gas guzzler tax charge as well, don't we?
Yeah, this was a little stout. We knew it was coming. It was a little bit more than we thought. All buyers purchasing a 2023 Corvette Z06 will be subjected to a gas guzzler tax of $2,600. And that's for the base model. When you add the carbon fiber Aero package, again, the Aero cars with the Z07, the gas guzzler tax jumps up to $3,000. This kind of news was expected, again, a little bit higher. But again, we're dealing with a naturally aspirated 670 horsepower engine in this car. And so, yeah, there's going to be some additional costs, unfortunately. We still do not have the actual official city and highway or combined MPG ratings yet from Chevrolet, so we're still waiting on that.
Okay, that sounds good. This last one in the news section, Keith, almost could be in our rumor section. General Motors is testing the Ferrari SF90 Stradale over at the Milford Proving Grounds, and they've kind of got eyes on the E-Ray and the Zora for a benchmark, don't they?
Yeah, so spy photographers had caught this car, and I'm glad you can pronounce it because I just want to call it the Ferrari SF90 Stradale instead of Stradale, which makes, is that how you say it? Stradale?
It's Stradale.
Stradale. All right, I like that. Yeah, so our spy photographer up in Detroit caught him testing on the famed north-south straightaway at the Milford Proving Ground. And what makes this car unique is this is Ferrari's take on their 4.0-liter twin-turbo V8, which makes 769 horsepower, and then they have 3 electric motors. Those add an additional 217 horsepower. So this car has 986 horsepower and 590 foot-pounds of torque. That's good enough to launch it 0 to 60 in the low 2-second range. A car like that sounds almost identical in terms of the horsepower performance ratings to what we're thinking that the ZR1 and Zora will do. The Zora is the twin turbo version of the 5.5 liter engine with the electric motors on it. The E-Ray, we're only going to probably see the 2 motors on the front axles, but some of these bigger performance cars are actually putting a 3rd motor in the back, and that offers a lot of the drive around. I've seen videos of this car being driven 10, 15 miles miles down the road, and it's all done on electric power. So with that third motor, I think you can do that. With the 2 motors that the E-Rays are getting, I'm not sure that we'll have that kind of extended drive period on electric only, but it looks like Chevrolet is turning towards Italy. They're taking apart this car and testing it and seeing what it can do, and it's all going to lead to these electrified Corvettes, and how they perform is all going to be benchmarked based on these cars and things. So again, good news. They're working on the future still. We have photographic proof of it over on CorvetteBlogger.com.
Very nice. Stradale. Buddy, let's take our first break. When we come back, we're going to cover Corvette racing and Corvette rumors here on Corvette Today.
We all know that wheels make the car. Wheelcraft will help you take your Corvette to new levels. Wheelcraft offers the world's best PVD chrome finish available on the market. Available in bright chrome and black chrome. Wheelcraft nails it in both appearance and durability. And it comes with a 5-year warranty against brake dust burns, pitting, peeling, and color delamination. Wheelcraft is also ISO certified. Whether you're having your wheels refinished or an exchange transaction, there is no core fee, no deposit, and you don't pay for the finished wheels until they are installed on your car. Wheelcraft insists on complete satisfaction before you pay. Hear from one of our customers.
I picked up a brochure at the National Corvette Museum and we took delivery of our new C8. I called Wheelcraft, and in 15 minutes, I ordered the new bright ice chrome wheels. Wheelcraft's follow-up and follow-through is superb. The wheels arrived on Sunday, installed on Monday, and cores were returned same day. The wheels are the highest quality I've ever seen, and they look awesome. Great prices, great customer service from initial contact to installation.
Thanks, Dennis from Nashville. In many cases, Wheelcraft offers finished wheels on exchange, or will apply this new finish to your wheels. Either way, Wheelcraft treats your wheels as their own. Visit our website at wheelcraft.com or call us at 833-840-5334. Arrive in style with Wheelcraft.
The Radiator Grill Store offers protection for your C8's front radiators and side intakes. They also carry front strut tower covers to prevent rusting and pooling water, all with do-it-yourself installation. Get 10% off your total purchase with promo code CT10. See the full line of products at radiatorgrillstore.com.
When you want to buy a Corvette, or any Chevrolet for that matter, get yours from Hendrick Chevrolet Shawnee Mission, located in Kansas City. Hendrick Chevrolet is the largest Corvette dealership and showroom in the Midwest. With a knowledgeable sales staff and Corvette sales specialists on hand, they'll help you build the Corvette of your dreams, and they ship nationwide. With Corvette certified master mechanics on site and a huge parts department with over 24,000 parts and $2 million in inventory, Hendrick Chevrolet is well equipped to take care of your every need. From sales to service to collision repair, Hendrick Chevrolet has you covered. Visit ChevyUSA.com or call 913-384-1550.
VetFinders.com is the Internet's original Corvette classified ads website, with classified ads starting at just $25, and every ad runs until your Corvette is sold. If you're in the market for a Corvette, VetFinders.com has over 500 Corvettes for sale from all around the USA and Canada, and covering all 8 generations. Visit VetFinders.com, the Internet's destination for buying and selling Corvettes. That's VETTE Finders.com.
Check out the first Corvette-only auction website at 427stingray.com/Corvette Today. You can sign up to bid and comment on more than 40 Corvettes every week. That's 427stingray.com/Corvette Today. Join the community.
This is the Corvette Today podcast with Steve Garrett.
Hey, thanks for listening and watching Corvette Today, the show that talks about everything Corvette, brought to you by Wheelcraft. Want to dress up your Corvette with bright chrome or black chrome wheels? Visit Wheelcraft.com and learn about their advanced PVD chrome finishing. They can refinish your wheels or offer a wheel exchange for most models, and it comes with a 5-year warranty. Visit Wheelcraft.com or call them at 833-840-5334. And don't forget, visit Wheelcraft on the Midway at Corvettes at Carlisle. I'm your host, Steve Garrett. With me every other week is Keith Cornett from CorvetteBlogger.com. We keep you up to date on what's happening with America's sports car. In this second section, we'll talk about Corvette racing and Corvette rumors. First of all, Keith, in the racing section, we got a number 3 podium at Road America with the Corvette racing team.
Yeah, that was a good race. It was a tough one, though. Road America is always a fast track. The competition's tough this year. We don't quite always have the speed that we want. We didn't have the overall top speed here, which would have been handy because it's just such a fast track. But the number 3 car did lead the race at one point, but we did see weather was a factor. They're switching between slicks and their wet tires. That was kind of a factor, but we did end up third on the podium at the end. We're racing with a waiver on a non-spec GT3 car in a GT3 category. So we'll take what we can get. We actually have a race coming up. Our next event is the Michelin GT Challenge at VIR, Virginia International Raceway, and that's happening this weekend. The number 64 Corvette in the WEC, the World Endurance Challenge, is going to Japan and Fuji Speedway on September 11th. So they're coming up a few weeks as well.
Very cool. Also in Corvette racing, we had Antonio Garcia and Jordan Taylor driving a C8 Z06 at Road America too, didn't we?
Yeah, there's some good stuff there. So we caught some behind-the-scenes stuff as they were given these cars. Antonio Garcia and Jordan Taylor were given these 2 Z06s to drive during this day. So we saw them driving. I actually saw a photo of Jordan on the highway, actually, with the car.
Ooh.
Antonio had the 70th anniversary in Carbon Flash Black, and Jordan was driving a Rapid Blue with the carbon fiber wheels, and both of the cars were full Z07 Aero cars. We did see them. They did a lap or two around the track. I got to tell you, it's really strange to see these 2 cars together on the track and racing each other a little bit, although they were very careful with them, just because we haven't seen that before. But we're going to see that soon with owners getting out there and going tense with it. So they did a lap 2, and then they paused underneath the Corvette bridge. There was the C8R was there, and Richard Prince, the official photographer for Corvette Racing, was able to get some great photos of the car. When Jordan was talking about the car, he says, wow, I wish my race car had that much horsepower, which is true because the race cars are constrained. They're down-tuned a bit. The Z06 is, 670 horsepower versus I think around 5 or 550 horsepower for the race car. You can see how these guys would really like it. And of course, Antonio, being the crazy guy that he is, throws up a couple thumbs up, and that's about all we know. Hope to see some more racers getting the opportunity to drive the Z06 and getting their impressions.
See, so when you get your Z06, everybody, you can say your car has more horsepower than the Corvette Racing Team's car.
Yeah, that's right.
That'll be pretty cool. Also, we saw IndyCar's Felix Rosenquist. He drove a Corvette pace car and the Nashville Street Course. That was pretty cool, too.
That's good. I'm always disappointed when I see these other series do these street courses and then we can't be there because I just think they're so much fun anyways. And it's fun for the residents of the town to see these race cars on their own streets. And Nashville, they actually go across the bridge over a river and back, and there's quite a bit of scenery there to see. So this was Felix Rosenquist. He took a Spirited Drive with Carter Holton of the Vanderbilt baseball team. Just went up and down, and it gives them a chance to talk to a non-racer about the capabilities of what their Indy cars are doing at that moment. The Indy cars are always twice as fast as what these Stingrays are doing. These street courses where you have these walls and the different corners you have to take, it's just more exciting. So I always wish that when IndyCar puts together a street course like Nashville, that IMSA could be there for that weekend as well. But good stuff again. I think we've got a couple more IndyCar races coming up, and I hope they continue to do these series. Another thing I saw too, we haven't written on this yet, is that Team Chevy had all the NASCAR drivers out to Charlotte Motor Speedway, and they were driving Corvettes out on the track. They had some Chevy trucks set up with a dirt obstacle course to drive around. So when these drivers are out there representing Chevrolet, they have now these experiences of driving the Corvettes on the track and driving the trucks off the track. Looks like they all had a good time there, and I was kind of following some of the Twitter feeds of these drivers as they were sharing their experiences.
That's cool. All right, let's get into rumors, Keith. We've got a couple big ones about the Z06. Now, obviously, we don't have Z06 complete allocation yet, but we do know constraints and how the allocations will be handed out.
Yeah, there's always been the conversation of how many Z06s will be produced in a year. What's the percentage of Z06s for Stingrays? We've heard rumors of 25 to 30%. I wish it was that good. There was a screenshot that came out Friday morning that appears to show a screenshot from a General Motors computer that tells us how many of each Corvette model that Chevrolet will produce for the 2023 model year. Now, it's not a number, it's not a count, it's mostly just percentages. The way they do this is the models are actually broken out. There's the Z51 with MagRide, the Z51 Stingray without MagRide, a base C8 Stingray, the base Z06, and then the Z06 with Z07 or Z06 with Aero is what they call it. As we go down this list, we know, and again, there's not a percentage. I'm not going to give you a percentage of Stingrays versus this. This is just what it says. 60% of Stingrays will be Z51, and so 40% of the Stingrays are non-Z51, obviously. 60% of Stingrays with Z51 will have MagRide. That's a percentage of a percentage. When we get into the Z06, we're learning that perhaps only 10% of models in the 2023 model year will be Z06.
Wow.
They have a plant restriction next to it. So it shows there's a common area. Like when it talks about the 60% of Stingray Z51 with MagRide, it says that there's a microchip supplier restriction. For just the regular Z51 Corvette Stingray with the 60%, it just says supplier restriction, non-Z51 Stingray supplier restriction. But when we get to the Z06 model, it shows 10%, and then it says plant restriction. So what's a plant restriction? That's a great question. We're not really sure. We assume that it's just what it says. It's just that production is being restricted by the plant. With the next one of the Z06s to have the Aero package, we're only looking at about 3% of those.
Wow.
Very scary stuff there in terms of exactly how much of that. Now, is that 3% total Stingray, or does that mean 30% of all Z06s, like we saw with this allocation that just came out, the constraints on the Aero package? I'm thinking again that we're probably looking at, if we build 30,000 cars this year, that's 3,000 Z06s, and 30% of those will have the Z07 package. So not really good news for if you're on a list and you're down that list and you want a Z06 really bad. I don't know how much they're going to make of these cars, but it doesn't look like it's going to be a lot. We were talking about this before we started recording. They got 281 allocations for the month of August. If you take that out for the next 10 months through June or July of next year, when the model year will switch over, you end up at about 3,000 cars total. So yeah, not the greatest news. And again, we just learned about this right before we got together to do this. So hopefully some more info will come out on it. But yeah, it looks like the Z06 is going to be an exclusive model.
Wow. Hopefully we'll get some better news coming out here even after this recording of this show.
Just been par for the course of what we saw last week.
Absolutely right.
There's only so many cars they can build. This Z06 is a very special car. It would have been nice if we would have known production going into this, earlier on, but I'm sure they didn't know either. We do have supplier restrictions on top of what else they're doing in terms of limited at the plant. It's just kind of a mess. We're just going to have to work our way through it, Steve.
That sounds good. Well, buddy, let's take our final break. When we come back, we'll talk about the lighter side of Corvette here on Corvette Today.
Are you ready for a better insurance policy without the Corvette tax? With Agreed Value Protection, the value of your collector vehicle will never change. Plus, you'll save money. Get a quick quote at ncminsurance.com.
Hey, honey, are you awake?
I am now.
I can't sleep. Since turning 50, I keep dreaming of a red door and a blue door, somehow knowing there are only choices for retirement.
Okay.
Through the red door, we outlive our money. We have to rely on our kids. We're stuck on a fixed income. It's terrifying.
Yeah, that would suck.
But through the blue door, our money outlives us. We retire on our terms. Our kids stay our kids, not our caretakers. We make work optional.
Yes, that's much better. That's what I want too. But what do we do?
We call True Wealth & Company at 913-653-8783. They specialize in helping successful people make work optional. They're our fiduciary Blue Door personal wealth managers.
Hey, where are you going? It's 3 a.m.
I can't sleep. I'm going to check out True Wealth & Company online at retirewithtrue.com. That Blue Door is going to be our retirement.
913-653-8783. Visit us online at retirewithtrue.com. Investment advice offered through True Wealth & Company, LLC, a registered investment advisor in the state of Kansas.
American Hydrocarbon is your one-stop shop for custom interior, exterior, and engine bay items for your C4 through C8 Corvette. We can help you create a custom look for your Corvette with carbon fiber or 10 different color patterns and styles. Whether it's a custom-made engine cover for your new C8 mid-engine Corvette or custom-made C4 interior upgrades, American Hydrocarbon can help you transform your Corvette into a best-in-class show car. And now we're proud to announce that we can produce and distribute officially licensed GM products for the C8 Corvette. That includes the front splitter, side skirts, engine appearance panels, and engine fluid caps. Plus, we now also carry the C8 Speedline side skirts along with the engine appearance package and high wing. Our products have been featured in Vet and Corvette magazines. Give us a call, 813-476-5638. Visit our updated website at AmericanHydrocarbon.com or email us at pat@AmericanHydrocarbon.com. Let us help you make your Corvette the car you've always wanted it to be. American Hydrocarbon.
Mid-America Motor Works has been the industry leader and aftermarket supplier and manufacturer of Corvette replacement parts and accessories since 1974. We have what you need for all years and generations of Corvette. Whether you need a door panel or seat cover for your C1 Corvette, or the latest shirt, jacket, hat, or lifestyle accessory to complement your new C8, you can get it at Mid-America Motor Works. So if you're restoring, repairing, replacing, or simply researching your Corvette, Mid-America Motorworks is the place to go. Visit our website at mamotorworks.com and shop Corvettes by generation or specific year. Or call us Monday through Saturday toll-free at 800-500-1500 and talk to one of our Corvette experts to help you get the right part or accessory. Pursue your passion with Mid-America Motorworks.
And now, back to Corvette Today with your host and my husband, Steve Garrett.
Hey, thanks for listening and watching Corvette Today, the show that talks about everything Corvette. Brought to you by Wheelcraft. Want to dress up your Corvette with bright chrome or black chrome wheels? Visit wheelcraft.com and learn about their advanced PVD chrome finishing. They can refinish your wheels or offer a wheel exchange for most models, and it comes with a 5-year warranty. Visit wheelcraft.com or call them at 833-840-5334. And don't forget, visit Wheelcraft's booth on the Midway at Corvettes at Carlisle. I'm your host, Steve Garrett. With me every other week is Keith Cornett from CorvetteBlogger. We keep you current and up to date on what's happening with America's sports car. In this third and final section, we'll talk about the lighter side of Corvette. Keith, I was really envious. I saw Amelia Hartford getting the first Z06 press car, and she had a great video about it.
Yeah, it was a fun video. It was a 70th anniversary convertible that she was driving. And we always said that when we see the Chevy people driving it, they might give us a little blip of the exhaust or maybe a little of it extended of a takeoff. But when it comes to these private people driving the car, obviously they're going to have a lot more fun with it maybe than I'd say the Chevy people are allowed to have. She certainly did that. This is the first press car, I guess, that's being out there. She says she's the first one to drive it. I've actually had some conversations with some other people that have been in the car that couldn't talk about it yet. But the good news is that these cars are out there. She was actually not allowed to talk about her driving impressions. These were embargoed by General Motors. What they generally will do is they probably already have cars out to like Car and Driver and Motor Trend and some of these magazines because it takes them 6 weeks, 8 weeks to put together an issue. They probably tested these cars earlier on, and then right as the launch comes, whenever Chevrolet says go, and we have to think that it's probably around production or when the first cars actually start being delivered, is when we'll see all these reviews start to hit the magazine stands and the YouTubers start getting the cars, and then hopefully we'll get the call to come out and do a ride and drive. So that's exactly what we've got looking forward to. But here's Amelia's driving this car, having a great time, taking it around, showing it to other people, letting them hear it rev and watching the convertible top go up and down and just having a fun time with it. Good to see. Just makes us know that we're close to these cars being in the hands of customers.
That's true. Very true. I also love this story. A 1971 Corvette that was driven by an Apollo 15 astronaut is getting a full refurb. That was awesome.
Yeah, this is pretty cool. So this is the car that was driven on the Apollo 15 mission by astronaut Al Worden. Great idea by a dealer down in the Cape Canaveral area, Wraithman Chevrolet, I think it was. The idea was to lease new Corvettes to astronauts for $1 a year. And of course, these astronauts were the heroes back in the 60s. They were on Life magazine. In fact, this car is pictured on Life magazine along with the 2 other astronauts who all had matching 1971 Corvettes done. There was a red one, a white one, and a black one, I believe. I don't think it was blue. I think it was black. And then each of the cars has a racing stripe with the other 2 car colors on it. So pretty cool. For Life magazine, you have the 3 cars, you have the astronauts standing up in the car through the T-tops, and then in front of it, you've got the actual GM-produced moon buggy that the astronauts used to drive around on the moon. After this guy got done with his car, he turned it back in. For whatever reason, it just ended up out in the back of a field somewhere, still with its white color, with its twin stripes on it, just as it was on the Life magazine. It had been found, I think, a few years back, and now it's actually going to be restored. And one of the people that's actually leading the restoration of the car is the grandson of the astronaut, kind of keeping it in the family there. Big shout out to collector Danny Reed, who has a thing for astronaut Corvettes. He helped discover this car. We're going to see this car again. Hopefully, once it's completed, we'll get it out on the show circuit a little bit and be able to check it out for ourselves. Really cool car, great piece of history.
I love that thing. I hope it gets refurbed soon. I'd love to see it back in its original glory, that's for sure. This next story, Keith, all you can do is shake your head. It's kind of a facepalm. The Chevy dealer's memo erroneously said that over 55,000 C8 orders were in the system. It was a fraction of that, wasn't it?
Yeah, I tell myself I'm the king of typos. This thing happened. This happened on a big scale. When Chevrolet sent out the dealer deck, the consensus deck to dealers, this was the week before ordering actually opened for the Z06. It showed that there was 55,573 Corvette orders in system. The second I saw that, I'm like, wow, that's a lot, obviously. That's like 2 years. And then GM Authority had actually written a story that said, and those 55,000 orders are all between 2,500 and 3,799 status, which was just impossible. There's no way that there's 50,000 orders that are accepted for production and waiting to be produced. We went back to our friends at Chevrolet PR. They got to work on it and said, no, it's actually only 5,573.
Oops.
We went from 2 years to 7 weeks. People that see that stuff, we're just so conditioned to take everything at face value. And then, of course, it's negative news. And so it just reinforces our opinion about what's going on with ordering and buying and all that other stuff. So, yeah, unfortunate. But again, when you see this kind of typo, you see the fiasco with the allocations last week. I about cursed there. And somebody's got to get their stuff together, when it comes to communicating with the dealers. Yeah, that's a big typo. But luckily, the good news is that it was just a typo. We're still going to see these cars moving. You know, we also talked to some dealers too. The average production time right now for dealers that have a list or smaller list, they'll say 8 months to a year. But we still have come across some dealers that'll say, yeah, we can do it in a few months. It might be 5 or 6 months. The nice thing is that for these dealers that are smaller that had these Stingray lists, a lot of these lists have come down in size now. So the wait isn't nearly as long as it once was.
Right.
Of course, we're at Z06s on that, but not in the percentage that we wanted to see. Just leaves more Stingrays out there for people to get.
Yep, that's true. And if you're bored and you're just waiting for your Corvette, you can always play the free C8 Wheels game on Twitter, can't you?
Yeah, this was something that we brought over. It was a little bit of a time waster, but pretty cool. Somebody had constructed a GIF of a C8 Corvette with all kinds of different wheels on it. The game is, the user says, you get a free Corvette, but you have to keep the wheels you landed on. When you start it, it's just flashing different wheels at you. Then you pause it and you see what you landed on. And there's just all kinds of different selections there. My favorites are the vintage Corvette wheels. We see a picture of the C8 wearing the 1978 wheels off of a Indy 500 pace car.
Wow.
You know, it had the red line around them, the aluminum wheels.
Yeah.
There was a couple different C4 wheels on there, and I tell you what, I'm a big fan of C4 wheels on this car. I think they look pretty good. And I know people are going to be out there shaking their head, but you got to trust me on this. And I got some pictures up on the website.
Okay.
Just something fun to do. And again, sometimes people are just looking for something fun, trivia. They're burned out by all the bad news or what news might be impacting them. So go have some fun, and this is what we got for you.
There you go. Also, the National Corvette Museum is adding a long-term exhibit called Driven to Design. This sounds really good.
Yeah, this is going to be a 6,500 square foot exhibit focused on the Corvette's design processes. And then I think they're going to tell the different stories of some of the individuals behind the designs that have done stuff. Of course, we've had Tom Peters, who's been working with the museum. He's a former Chevrolet design chief and worked on the performance cars at Chevrolet. And so he's been helping design all this and put it together and curating some of the info. So this should be good. The exhibit will actually open September 21st. So unfortunately, we're not going to see it yet if you go to the anniversary show, September 1st to the 3rd. But it'll be there, and I think they'll keep it for about 6 weeks or so. There's going to be some good cars there. I think we're going to see the 57 Corvette SS. The 1961 Mako Shark will be there.
Nice.
So there's going to be some good stuff. Of course, we'll see some models, some designs, some clay models, and more. So if you're interested in the design aspects, especially the historical design of the Corvette, this is going to be a fun exhibit to watch.
Very nice. Also, we found out, and this is great for 2022 Stingray owners, GM is working on a fix that underestimates the state of the battery charge, which I thought was really a good idea.
Yes, and the good news is that this doesn't require a trip to the dealership to fix. That hopefully it'll just be handled over the air with an update that you just download and do it yourself. The word is that there's a percentage of owners that were showing that the battery was not actually full. And what would happen is the alternator wouldn't kick on, and it affects fuel economy and some other things there as well. It looks like the issue is going to be fixed through an over-the-air update, and then hopefully that's just another thing that they're able to knock out.
That's great. Well, buddy, we were full of extra content today. Thank you so much for being on the show. We will see you in 2 weeks.
Absolutely. Or we're actually going to see you at Corvettes of Carlisle, because I'm excited to see your seminar on the podcast, and we'll be there for that. Anything that we see online, we're going to cover it. We're going to cover all the things going on at Corvettes of Carlisle. Very excited about that. Hope to see you there, and make sure you keep that arm up and waving, because there's going to be a whole lot of waving at Carlisle for sure.
Thanks for listening to Corvette Today, and please be sure to tell your family, friends, and other Corvette enthusiasts about the Corvette Today podcast. And thanks to our sponsors, Wheelcraft. Want to dress up your Corvette with bright chrome or black chrome wheels? Visit wheelcraft.com to learn about their advanced PVD chrome finishing. They can refinish your wheels or offer a wheel exchange for most models, and it comes with a 5-year warranty. Visit wheelcraft.com today or call 833-840-5334. American Hydrocarbon at americanhydrocarbon.com. True Wealth and Company at retirewithtrue.com. Also, Aero wheels. Get $100 off your purchase with the new promo code CT111 at aerolari.com. Mid-America Motorworks at mamotorworks.com. And Hendrick Chevrolet in Kansas City at chevyusa.com.
You've been listening to Corvette Today with Steve Garrett. If you'd like to contact Steve with any thoughts on the podcast or ideas for guests on Corvette Today, you can email him at stevegarrettdj@gmail.com. That's stevegarrettdj@gmail.com. Garrett has 2 R's and 2 T's. Or connect with Steve on social media on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram using @SteveGarrettDJ. Thanks again for listening to Corvette Today.